case situation. We want to move to the wide receivers now because we had Marquise Goodwin on the show last Thursday, I believe. Tremendous young man. Late Friday, after we had left the air, comes news that, and I'm guessing he knew of it when he was on the show with us Thursday. But
I can't imagine that happened after
in
such
reading
a short
some
time.
reading some things, he's known about it for a while. He didn't discuss it with us. The next day, it was announced. I'm guessing as they were processing physicals or whatever, it was announced that he has blood clots. He's out indefinitely. Now, remember, he was the burner that was brought in. This would be his 10th NFL season. He's been a journeyman. He's been with a lot of different teams, the Niners, the Bears. But he's a guy that can take the top end off of defense. He has never been a huge difference maker, but he's a guy that can make plays, and they needed that. Then comes word that Anthony Schwartz is already hurt.
Shocker.
Not a good sign for that young man. Not a good sign at all, because if there's been a guy on the roster who's dead man walking for a couple of years, it's this guy. He needed to have not a good camp. He needed to have oh my God, he looks like Jerry Rice camp. And now he's already injured. And Amari Cooper has missed a day with a tweak. They're calling a tweak. I don't make too much of that. It's very early in camp.
Andrew Berry did say it's a minor tweak.
Yeah.
But it speaks to the big picture here of
the room.
Exactly.
Yeah, the room. So are you guys concerned at all about the wide receivers?
I've been concerned since last year. And this is why I got in these little tiffs on Twitter with people who don't understand. Take it from me. If there's somebody that knows about being injured, it's me. If I done had all of them. If you line them up, every injury on the body, I got a mark somewhere in my body for it. And what I know about injuries is I know that they're irritable. I know that they never go away. And there is no such thing as a tweak. A tweak to somebody is, oh, it hurts a little bit. A real tweak means, yeah, he slightly tore this. A tweak is, oh, listen, that's a third-degree sprain of this.
Which is a landmine down the future, down the road.
And he's going to, now mind you, they ain't even hit nobody yet. And when we was talking about DeAndre Hopkins, we had so many people dismissive of the fact of we don't need XYZ. Just put any name in there. We don't need them. We got this person, this person. I said, oh, really? Do you got those people? Because last time I checked, Anthony Schwartz, he's always hurt with a hamstring. Then you get the news of Marquise Goodwin. That was one of your major guys you brought in. Now,
those are your two fastest receivers.
Two fastest receivers. Now you got a bunch of guys with the same build. DPJ, Cedric Tillman, Amari Cooper ain't beating nobody in no races like that. Now, granted, Amari Cooper is on a different level. We're not even going to keep him out of it. But I told people, I said, listen, if you lose Amari Cooper, what does your room look like? He just had surgery in the offseason. Well, G. Bush, you can say that about any team. No, you can't. No, you can't. If the offense lose Tyreek Hill, guess what? They still got Jalen Waddle.
No, the Bengals lost their first two receivers, and our defensive secondary coach said he didn't know how to react without them in the game, and they still walked all over us.
There are teams with great receivers from top to bottom, and I'm looking at the Browns roster, and I'm saying, listen, we're projecting a lot. The only guy that has a track record of success is Amari Cooper. Elijah Moore, we love him. We think he's going to be good, but the numbers don't bear it out yet. We look at DPJ. We love him. We like where he came from. Like you say, he got it out the mud in the trenches. We like guys like that. But still, he hasn't put on to a level where he's a number one, number two type receiver where he's going to command coverage being rolled his way. People are not scared when DPJ goes out there. And then you got a bunch of other guys that question marks. David Bell, not very fast. I didn't see much from him last year. Anthony Schwartz, Marquise Goodwin. I love his attitude, love him as a player, but he's been traditionally injured as well. So my question is, when you're coming out here with a Deshaun Watson who looks like you guys are going to throw the ball and the offense is open, I don't know. I don't feel good about the receiver room.
1 to 10 concern meter.
6.
10 being I got to go get another receiver. 1, we're going to be fine. Where are you, Earl?
I'm about a 2 or a 3.
You're not concerned then?
I think, honestly, I evaluate the situation from where we at right now. We didn't get DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, cool. But I listened to Andrew Berry's press conference yesterday, Kevin Stefanski's, and more importantly, Deshaun Watson's. And Deshaun Watson said something that's still in my head. We got a talented group. I understand that y'all just don't know who their names are yet. When you look at the guys that's in question, first and foremost, shout out to Marquise Goodwin. Blood clots is a scary thing. So as far as just life goes, I pray that he recovers. And if he can contribute to the Browns this year, fine. If he can't, I totally get it because we understand what his situation is.
Sure.
I didn't look at Anthony Schwartz as somebody that was going to make this football team anyway.
I didn't either.
I didn't look at him as somebody that was going to have an impact. When I visualized the wide receiver room, he was never somebody that I even had on the depth chart.
Yeah,
so
and I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to look at that like, okay.
But what about the Amari Cooper
It's a big
thing?
deal. When I watched the interviews, right, one of the things that I learned when I worked for the city of Cleveland, I took a management class, and they talked about the biggest sign of communication is your body language. Nothing about Kevin Stefanski or Andrew Berry's body language showed me that I should have reason to be concerned about Amari Cooper right now. So as long as Amari is good, I'm good. But when you look at the core pass catchers, right, or the guys that they brought in, the Elijah Moore, the Tillman, the Goodwin, even somebody I always talk about, Jordan Atkins, the tight end, who Mary Kay Cabot talked about over this past week. Yeah, he's a tight end, but he's more like a big body wide receiver.
Sure.
And so when I look at
those are a commodity now.
Right. And so when I look at the guys who actually are experiencing some injuries right now, no, it's not pause for concern because if it's just a tweak for Amari, it's just a tweak. Last time I checked, Elijah Moore is fine. Donovan Peoples-Jones is fine. Every single tight end that we're going to depend on, they are doing okay. The rookie seems to be impressive and has chemistry with Deshaun Watson. So, yeah, it might suck to not have the speed of Marquise Goodwin, but I never looked at Anthony Schwartz as somebody that was going to make this team.
Yeah.
So
Can I ask Earl a
I'm
question
not
real
really
quick?
concerned
Sure,
right
shoot.
now.
Earl, to what you said about listening to Deshaun's interview and Stefanski and Barry speaking of the receivers, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I also don't know if listening to them say that changes my opinion because what are they supposed to say? Hey, my guy's kind of sucks.
Oh, he said he was looking at their body language. Sometimes when a guy is saying something with his mouth, he's saying something else with his shoulders and with his face.
Oh, no, I get that. I'm just saying sometimes.
So he's just saying that
No, I get what
as
Mike
he's
is
looking
saying.
past the words.
Yeah, no,
Right,
I
get what
just
you're
have
saying,
learned
but
never to always.
When I'm watching them at the podium and I'm reading their body language, and I'm not gonna say I'm an expert,
Right.
But I spent 7 years as a supervisor.
Yeah.
I can read body language pretty well.
Sure.
So like the words you use matter, but your body temperament says a lot, and they didn't seem like they were overly concerned.
Yeah.
So
I'm somewhere in the middle on you guys. Mike, I've watched, I've seen head coaches and general managers stand in front of media gatherings and say things that I already knew was factually incorrect.
No,
And I literally would look at them and go, holy hell, this dude should be an actor. Because I know for a fact what he's saying is not true. I know for a fact it's not. I've talked to the player. Yet he stood up there and with all the conviction in the world, sold it to the media. And most of us bought it.
Yeah, and I'm not
So,
saying
I mean-
Watson or them are lying. I'm just saying
And they're good at it too because in the draft, they've got to be masters of misinformation. They
Right.
stand in front of the media all the time and say, oh, I love this player. If this player's on the board, he's mine.
But I do
And when they
believe-
say that, you can bet they're not going to take
But
it.
I do, and Andrew Berry said this yesterday, this is the opportunity to evaluate the roster that you put together in the spring. Training camp will show you, you know what I mean, because
Right.
you're not going to get it all the way right. And I think if something was to happen to somebody that they believe is going to be a major contributor in the pass catching room,
Right.
then there's still guys that you can go out there and get.
There is depth in numbers right now.
Denzel Mims, right? The Jets wide receiver who couldn't get on the field.
Right.
The Detroit Lions just made a trade for him. I thought that was a steal, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Okay.
So, like, there's moves to be made. And I think Andrew Berry has at least proven that he can go out here and make a deal if he absolutely has to.
You're a 6, G. Bush?
I'm a 6. The reason I'm a 6 because we see they talk about, oh, well, you might not know these names. Oh, we do know the names. You might not know the names. I saw him play all last year.
Yeah.
I saw David Bell do nothing last year. I seen Anthony Schwartz do nothing for a couple years. Oh, and Harrison Bryant, you're just a name. I ain't seen nothing either.
But Deshaun Watson wasn't throwing the ball.
He wasn't throwing the rock to him. That's the thought process. But guess what? That don't make cats faster.
True.
The part that kills me with the Cleveland Browns is this. I watch other teams, and those other teams do this. 2 plays, 3 plays, score, touchdown, deep threats.
Yeah.
They got a different type of offense. If you think that, if even when Amari Cooper on the field and Donovan Peoples-Jones is on the field, I'm not threatened vertically. I don't have to roll nobody no way.
You need one of those, Goodwin or Schwartz, to scare a defense of the deep threat.
You need that threat.
I'm not taking that away, G, but maybe I'm just a little bit more optimistic with you when I look at it like this. You can have all the speed in the world. Your 40 time can be whatever it is. But when you got game speed and when you're that type of route runner who can actually, run your way open, Now all of a sudden you look faster than what your 40 time is.
That's
and
true.
So when I look at the depth of the pass catchers, forget just the wide receiver room, right? You brought in Jordan Atkins, a guy who Deshaun Watson has previous experience with, a guy that he trusts in the red zone.
And Njoku's paid like a top 3.
Yeah, and then you still got Harrison Bryant, who the jury is honestly still out on. We know what his college career was. He has yet to show it in the league. But when I look at this collective group, I can't sit up here and harp on last year when everybody is telling me the entire offense is different.
But there is one thing. He would have never went and got Marquise Goodwin if he thought the speed was there.
Well,
he
I
would have
think,
never
I think
drafted
the
Schwartz.
Goodwin move was anticipation that Schwartz will not be there, and you better have a top-end threat,
Right.
or all the teams in the league are going to put a 15-yard cap on your offense, and they're going to shorten your deck. And that's hard to succeed when there's no deep threat on the field. I think that's what Marquise Goodwin is. Now, your insurance policy on speed is just now been listed out indefinitely.
You also got Jakeem Grant, too.
That's true. We don't know what he's going to do.
Hey,
that's true.
Thank you. Hey, good one. Hey, good. That's a good one. I
Yeah,
give you
because
that.
we forgot about him because he never played.
Because he was hurt last year.
One other thing before we turn the page to the Deshaun Watson topic. I'm about a 3 today. If Amari misses Thursday, I'm about a 5. And if it lingers, I'm about a 7. Because he is the sun to the wide receiver universe. And if you take the sun out, it gets dark real fast.
That's where I'm at with G. The fact that I don't believe that the Amari Cooper situation is serious,
right. So
I'm
that's
chill.
That's fine.
Like I'm
but
real chill.
As this thing goes on, if the ding turns into he's out for a couple days, then he misses some preseason action.
If they come back,
then I get real concerned.
And we got to keep this in mind. It ain't like Elijah Moore is slow. That dude got
no, he's
wheels.
not. No, he
so,
does.
so you still got somebody
But
that
again,
can take the
to
top
G.
off the
Bush's
defense.
point, unproven commodity.
He's
True.
he's
That's true.
unproven.
Doesn't
That's
mean
true.
he can't bust out of the scene.
That's true.
If
We've
I
seen
see
it
that man
before.
on that bike on that sideline, when he come back to Cleveland, you do whatever they want to in West Virginia, whatever. Y'all playing golf and hanging out good, team building. But if you get back here and I see you on camp contracted over there on the sideline, I'm going to be like, whoa, hey, what's going on? What we doing here?
Concerning quickly. Okay, let's move to our last